The most important thing with seated workouts is that you stay in a neutral spine. So what I mean is that you are not tucking your tail and slouching into the back of the chair. So you won't be using the back of the chair. You'll be using your own abdominals to stay right up on top of your sitting bones. So you should be able to wiggle side to side and feel those sitting bones. If you have a tucked tail, when you wiggle side to side, you'll feel them, but they're going to be more in front of you. I want you totally stacked up. And if that means grabbing your dowel and putting it against the back of your head, the back of your bra, and then your sacrum, that triangular bone on the back of your pelvis, to make sure you're seated upright, then please do that, because this is the most important part about doing any seated workout. We don't want to be tucking our tail and then be putting pressure not only into the wrong part of our pelvic floor, but also into those compressed vertebrae. Don't want to do that. So nice and tall, thinking about the crown of your head, that actually the little place at the back of your head where you have a colic, that is what lengthens. Back of your neck is long, your chin is in, your shoulders are sitting right over your hips. And there you go, you're in a neutral spine. So from there, let's just close our eyes and imagine that your head is like a bobblehead and you can move it around in a circle. So your chin comes out a little bit and then it pulls back in. So we're not so much tilting, so we're not tilting an ear towards a shoulder. We're actually moving the head over the shoulders, and then we'll reverse in the other direction. So it doesn't really matter what someone can see when they're looking at you. I just want you to feel it in your own body. This core reset is not a hard core workout. It's more of an awakening and an awareness, and then you can move on to a workout. This is just a lovely thing to do also on a day when you're just not feeling great. It might give you a little bit more awareness to your body and some energy, maybe even some ease. So the next thing we're going to do is head ramp. So again, bring that chin in, back of the neck is long. Someone pulls you from right there, gets just a little bit taller, and then from there, tilt the ear and come back up and tilt the ear and come back up. Notice we are not side bending right now. We're just moving our ear towards the shoulder and then the other ear towards the shoulder, all the while supported by your deep abdominals sitting upright in a neutral spine. And then we'll move to a side bend, and what I'd like you to do is take one arm and don't grab the chair, just take that arm and press into the side of the chair. Take the other arm and reach it up. And then we are going to side bend, but when we side bend, it's as if one arm reaches down and the other arm reaches towards the corner of the room. So it's not a huge side bend, it's a stretch here on this long side and not a collapse on this side. It's as if you're squeezing a little lemon, so you're not collapsing into it. You're nice and tall, you're still in neutral, and then you squeeze a lemon here, so you're using those muscles. We're not releasing any muscles. Use those muscles. Make sure your ribs stay in your body. So what I mean by that is when you do this side bend, I don't want that happening. Okay, so let's go back and just reset again. Resetting my head over my shoulders over my pelvis, reaching, squeezing a lemon, and then breathing into this long side, as if you could breathe into one side of your lungs, and then use your abdominals and that marble traveling up to bring you back up. Let's do it again. Squeeze, so you're using your core. Use your abdominals. Feel that to be the thing that brings you back up. 2 more. Check in with your chin. Make sure your head is still in neutral. Great. Now we do the other side. Again, I'm going to make sure I'm in neutral. Ribs are still in my body. Squeezing that lemon. It's so different when I squeeze the lemon, when I really use my core. I'm not collapsing. I'm using muscles, obliques on both sides. One side stretches, the other side contracts, and then reverse that trend. And what about the marble traveling up? Still need to use that. That's what brings you back up. So there's a fair amount of abdominal work here without side bending in a big or major way. Just work out those shoulders, roll them a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to give ourselves cactus arms, and let's just see how it feels to sit here with the cactus arms staying in neutral, so let's not collapse. And can you pulse these cactus arms back? 1, 2, no change in your spine. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Roll that out one way and then the other. You can do that a couple of times. And now we're going to do a little bit more. Back to this cactus arm. And then I'm going to angle my arms out a little bit and slide the elbows towards my back pocket. So now it can become, and we can go past the cactus arm, go straight, and then angle back in. So can you feel your shoulder blades pinching together at the bottom, not at the top? We don't want this. We want the bottoms to slide in the same way that these elbows are sliding in. Can the bottoms of your shoulder blades slide in just a little bit? You're still working your abdominals to stay seated, straight up. Good. Using that exhale and that marble traveling up really helps keep you alive in the core to support this movement going out far from your body and then coming back in. Wonderful. Let's practice a few rhomboid push-ups. I'm going to turn sideways. So what I want you to do is you plug those shoulder blades in and then reach away. Imagine on the back of your body how broad your shoulder blades are across your back, and then think about the bottoms of the shoulder blades near the bra strap pinching together. Are you staying erect, nice and tall, using your abdominals to support you, that marble traveling up to support you? And one more. Fantastic. We're going to get a little thoracic rotation in. So that means the rotation comes here behind your sternum, your thoracic vertebra. I'm just going to put my hands here. I think it really helps so you can visualize, particularly if you're looking in a mirror. You're going to keep your nose in front of your sternum. So we're not turning the head without the rib cage. We're turning the rib cage and just seeing where will it go. And I cued that without thinking about breath. Now let's think about breath. Inhale, inflate your lungs, and then exhale, come back without collapsing. Can you feel your core working to support you, keeping your rib cage right up on top of your hips? Can you feel that your hips, for the most part, stay facing forward? It's so important to mobilize that thoracic spine. It's actually part of what helps us keep our low back safe by having a mobile upper spine. Great. Now we're going to move into a seated lunge. So in a seated lunge, you're using your chair. You've got, in this case, my left bottom is on the chair, And then I'm putting my right leg straight down. Let's just tuck the tail a little bit, not so that we're in a tuck tail, just to keep me in neutral. As my leg goes behind me, it oftentimes wants to pull you into an overarched low back, and we don't want to do that. Now, for each of you, it's going to be different. Are you comfortable with your toes on the ground, or is it more comfortable your toes pointing into the ground? Totally up to you. What we're going to do from here, and you can certainly remain holding onto the chair if that's what helps you stay upright on top of your bum. We don't want to collapse. We want to be nice and upright. That means that marble traveling up. And then let's reach the arm and create a long stretch line from the arm all the way through the front of that thigh. Holding and breathing. Part of the work here in your core is that you're supporting this pelvis staying in neutral and the ribs staying over the pelvis. And bring that down. And then let's switch and do the other side. So again, hold onto the chair. Each side could be different in terms of how much you can get that leg either going straight down or a little bit behind you. Tuck that tail in order to ensure that you stay in a neutral spine. And then take that long line and stretch. You're using your core to support you. If you can let go of the chair, you're going to use more of your abdominals, so this core reset is really working. Exhale, marble traveling up, really working to support you here. Beautiful. And coming back to the middle. Got my legs nice and wide, and all that I want to do is think about, could I hinge forward a teeny bit, push through my heels, and lift my seat off the chair? But we're not going to. We're just going to lift our bum so it gets lighter off the chair and come back down. Can you feel that? Get lighter off the chair. Less of your bum is pushed in. So my sitting bones are really anchored into the seat of the chair. I hinge forward a little bit and I feel my sitting bones lift just a teeny bit. My tissues are still on the chair, but my sitting bones are no longer digging into the chair. I'm just pulling up a little bit using my legs, my calves, my glutes, my hamstrings, and come back down. So it's not quite like you're squeezing your bum. Squeezing my bum might look like this. It might be a clench. I don't want that. I'm rising up. Good. Let's go back to our lunge. So again, if you need to hold onto the chair, please do it. Otherwise, we're going to be right here. Tuck that tail to get yourself in neutral. And then can you think about that same thing? Could you think about rising up just a little bit, even pushing into that back toe if you can, pushing into this heel. So let's plug this femur in and then using an exhale, can you rise up just a teeny bit? So your belly kind of sucks in a little bit as that marble travels up. You're pushing into the front and the back leg. One last time, glutes are squeezing. Woo, that's some work. Let's try the other side. Tuck that tail in order to get that nice long line. You're in neutral and plug the front femur in. Then marble traveling up, use that core. Exhale. So my thigh is not leaving the chair, but I am working my core. Very nice. So, so nice. Now let's just think about what our legs do when we're walking. Something we call gait knees. So your right knee goes forward, your left hip goes back, and then the reverse. So imagine, let's say you have skis on, and you're in little cross-country skis on, and you're a beginner, and you're not really lifting the ski at all. You're just sliding on the track. That's what we're doing here. This mimics walking. And then we're going to do a better mimic of the walking by not having same side arm and leg. We're going to do opposite. And then it really does become like walking. Can you get taller each time a hand goes forward? Can you feel your upper body just moves a teeny bit, not a lot. You're still looking forward. But there is some rotation in that thoracic spine, in your rib cage. You are pushing down into your foot as the knee goes forward. Fantastic. Let's take a seated figure 4. So for some of you, this may not feel at all comfortable, and what you may instead do is something down here. Either way is fine. We are going to imagine that pull on our back and taking a neutral hinge over and feeling the stretch. If you don't feel the stretch here, you might need to bring your leg more up to here. Neutral spine, hinge over a little bit, see if you feel a stretch now. So you're stretching this glute a little bit. Maybe you feel something in your piriformis or in your IT band. But you're really stretching the glute for the most part, I hope. And then you'll come back. Find the position that works for you. Each side is different. I've got much less hinge on the left side. I can't come as far forward. Always use that marble traveling up to support your neutral spine. Very nice. Let's do that again. So again, finding the position that works for you. Inhaling, exhaling, marble traveling up. Inhaling, exhaling, marble traveling up. I've got my hands on my hips so I can feel that hinge, and I'm not pressing into my leg, not trying to force it into any position. Better to work at the edge of the range of motion that we have, not pushing ourselves into a range of motion we don't have. It's nice to live at that edge. No need to push past it. Just by living at the edge, you'll slowly over time move that edge, and you can tell that I haven't done this stretch in quite a while. I've lost anything I had gained, and I'm back to square one. That's what happens. Now we're going to get our legs nice and wide, and we're going to practice a little internal rotation. So hold on to the chair. Press yourself so you're seated nice and high, staying in neutral, and then use the heel up, toe down, and do internal rotation, alternating sides. Internal rotation is generally the thing that we lack. Usually one side is better than the other, and it's nice to just look into what range of motion you can access when you're using your core to support you. And then how about we get on our heels and see what happens? So we can do it both ways. You're sitting fairly far forward in the chair to make this work. Good. Let's go back to our toes. How does that feel? Do you feel a little more connected with your core after doing this? I hope so. Back to the heels again. Let's rotate. Notice I'm not practicing external rotation now. I'm just settling at external and not going far out to the end range of external. Most of us have great external rotation. We're just checking in with the internal rotation. Great. Bring it all back home. You can sit a little further into your chair. Although you're not resting on the back, you're still nice and upright. Hands on your knees, closing the eyes if that's comfortable for you. Inhaling and exhaling. Can you feel the back of your neck long as you inhale and exhale? Can you feel your rib cage expand as you inhale and then slowly come back home as you exhale? Can you feel your shoulders just dripping down towards the ground, just perched right on top, but feeling no muscular tension to raise them up, just letting them fall down. Is your jaw nice and slack? Your eyes are relaxed. Open your eyes, and thank you for joining me for this little core reset.